Okay, I think I'm live. So back with another review and commentary. This is going to be the review of yesterday's trading session. That was Friday, the 18th of October. So I'm just gonna play back the live recording that I did during the stream. I'm still a bit under the weather, so please bear with me. My voice is a little bit scattered. So I believe we're a few minutes into the pre-market open. There were a big sell-off pre-market, and now we basically get the reversal up here. Here I'm just testing if everything is okay, if I'm able to place orders. So again, just to explain a few things maybe, this is the 5-second charts of the NASDAQ futures. I'm trading the micro, so the MNQ. I'm using a platform called ATAS. It's a trading platform that's mostly developed for order flow trading. I don't use all of the functionalities. I'm mostly interested in the volume profiles. I really like how you're able to set up a volume profile on a time frame. So at the moment I'm using the volume profile on the 1-minute bar. So you see these 5-second bars, they're all within a volume profile. That's basically the volume profile of a 1-minute bar. So this was this 1-minute bar, this was that 1-minute bar, and then you see the individual 5-second bars within. So you see the price action within the bar, within the 1-minute bar. And I also use some fixed volume profile and other things. But that's basically the main thing I'm looking at. I'm not so interested in overall direction. Like I don't really do top-down analysis. I mean, I do put an eye on, is market overall bullish or bearish. But to be honest, because I'm most of the time trading like 30 minutes to 1 hour, basically the first hour of the NASDAQ open, and price goes up and down within that hour. So it like I can sometimes take a short trade and a long trade within the same minute. So I'm not too concerned about the overall direction of the market. I do pay attention to sort of major swing highs and swing lows, just because that's typically where we're going to get a fast reaction away from those levels. Many times we get into a level, we stagnate a bit, and then we get a fast reversal or a fast breakout of that level. So I just keep that in mind, that's typically areas where you can expect some form of like higher volatility. But again, I'm not really trading them as support and resistance on the higher time frame. Also, because I'm using such a low take profit and stop loss, I'm aiming for around 20 ticks most of the time for my take profit, and my stop loss is between 20 and 30 ticks. So that happens within seconds most of the time. What you're looking at the bottom here is just, it's one of my own oscillators, but it's basically, it's using delta value, so the difference between the aggressive buyers and the aggressive sellers. I might go into that in a little bit more detail in a future video explaining what delta really is and how it's used in order flow trading. I'll go into that in another video, but essentially, you see when the bars are above the zero line, that just means there have been more buyers, aggressive buyers in that move. And when you see the values or the oscillator bars here below the zero line, that means there's more aggressive sellers, meaning there is an imbalance between how many traders hit the sell, market sell, compared to how many traders hit the market buy, right? And you can use this. I have a standard deviation set on these. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but basically it's just you can use it as a form of overbought, oversold, or I use it as a form of like seeing when there's absorption in price. You can also use the divergences, right? We have a very aggressive selling here, marked by this high aggression in the sellers. Then we get another leg down here, but there's way less sellers participating in that move. That might signal that a reversal is bound to happen. And what I like to do then is set a limit order down here at the highest volume node. So once I see these two moves happen, and I see we have a divergence in selling pressure, meaning less selling pressure basically in the second leg, I'm thinking, okay, there's a limit buyer sitting down here somewhere that's able to absorb price, right? And if we then continue having less selling pressure from aggressive sellers, rarely do we see a continuation then further down. So I like to place a limit order down at the where the highest volume was traded in the original move, and then expect a reversal, at least back up into the range. And then I don't really care at that point if price breaks lower down or it goes up, because I'm typically just aiming at my take profit somewhere in the middle of the range. So yeah, I might try and explain a little bit more how I use the indicator during this review session. But again, this is not an indicator you can find online. It's one of my own making, but I guess you can use other indicators as well. I just like it because it's not only reading price movements, so like a typical RSI or MACD or whatever, but it's also mostly using the delta data for its calculations. So it shows more where are the aggression in the market. So let's just play ahead here. Again, this is the ATAS trading platform. What you see out to your right is the equity or the equity follower. It's a bit slow at updating, which is annoying, but ATAS has promised me that they're working on fixing it because earlier, or back in the day, it used to be very fast to update in real time, but in the last month or so, it has been very laggy. So you'll see I exit a trade either at a loss or a win, and it takes sometimes up to a minute until the equity actually shows on the right. So I hope they're going to get that fixed soon, because when I take, I can take 20, 30, 50 trades in a session. It's nice for me to see. Obviously, I have also other ways to see where my profit is, like in my rhythmic dashboard and whatnot. But I like to see sort of how the equity curve is developing. If I'm being, it helps me mentally. Not that I want to focus on my P&L, but it definitely helps me to see like how steady is my trading going on the session. So again, if you didn't watch the last video I made of a review, basically my main bread and butter setup is I'm trying to see in which direction is the market going. Are we ranging, or are we going higher, or are we going lower? I also take aggressive reversals. I think in this session, the first trade I take is a loss, and it's based on a very aggressive setup, you might say. But basically what I'm looking at is that's also why I draw this line out. We're right before the open now, so it's not going to get respected. But basically what I'm looking at is if we have a move out of a high volume node, then I'm waiting for price to get back into that volume node and then place a limit order, a limit buy in this case, and then go long, right? I'm not taking this one because we're right before the open, and at the open obviously there's a lot of volume traded, and it's gonna not respect those levels. But yeah, I'll explain that as we go along. It's a fairly simple concept, but it's definitely high frequency type of scalping, and you need to be very focused to do this kind of trading. So what I'm looking at now is just we broke that low. Typically on the open we see a reversal of the after a break of a low. So I'm just waiting to see here, are we starting to see some support forming some interest in the buyers. I still see there's still more volume being traded up in the upper area of this opening bar, which indicates for me there are still more sellers. Well, let's wait and see what happens here. Now we see the point of interest or point of control, the more highlighted white line here is slowly moving up. So now I'm starting to think, okay, there are actually buyers interested in this move back up into the range. I don't know what's going on now, why it's loading. Might have to put the quality of it down here. I don't know if that... Yeah, so the quality is going to be a little bit lower, but I hope you can still see what's going on. So basically I placed a buy limit order there just because we saw this sort of demand block forming here, and the highest volume was traded right here. I know it's a very sketchy entry, very aggressive, but again, because we many times see a reversal of the open, I'm willing to take it. I also pay attention to this high volume node down here. So I do think if this one breaks, they're probably going to hold this one, but I don't think any of them holds. But I think this entry would definitely have been better. I might have been out already there at my take profit. So yeah, we also see more selling pressure in the aggressive sellers compared to the buyers. So I'm starting to be a bit worried and thinking I should maybe just close it out here. I think I hit the exit order, but it's just too slow. So price had already taken me out at take profit. So now I'm basically thinking, okay, price is on the way down. This is an interesting area to go short. I think I take that one. I don't remember if I take a loss here or if I... Yeah, so I get that win, basically like a break and retest. I entered on the high volume. Again, here now I'm just changing the equity. But again, it says empty data because it's so slow at uploading. So again, still thinking, even though now we see something interesting here, we start seeing this divergence, right? So I am thinking it's a bit sketchy to continue going shorter, but price action is still showing lower lows, lower highs. So at this moment I'm thinking, okay, they made the move up here into this liquidity up here, but they didn't quite get the high volume. So I'm still expecting, if we get up into that high volume, that there still might be a seller sitting up there. I don't think we're gonna get a win on this one either. So, and now we also see very strong buyers coming through here on the oscillator. So I think this session is a little bit like I take a win, I take a loss, I take a win, I take a loss off the beginning. It takes a while for me to get into the flow of the session.
Order cancelled.
Again, I took that off manually. I didn't like the sweep up there, and I don't like the aggression in the bias. Now I then enter to the opposite side because I see the aggression in the bias stepping up and prices down at the high volume node here. They just sweep down, took some liquidity below these wicks before going up to the target. So now I'm just waiting and see, are we gonna break higher? Or are we gonna go back into this little range that they're forming? What is the overall direction? I put a limit order there because of the high volume in this area, and there's like a little spike here. Plus there are these wicks down here where typically you see liquidity hiding down there. So if they want to take it up higher, they need that liquidity down there. Got very close to my TP here. I don't remember if I'm going to take a full loss on this one. Looks like it.
Order filled. Order cancelled.
Yeah, so here, this is definitely something that I advise doing. I took an extra entry
Order placed.
just to get out a break even. So instead of taking a full loss, I just took a break even on that one. A shame, because I was very close to my take profit, but again, we saw the high volume being formed up here, and basically price got right up into it and then reversed. I think that happened here within this whole bar, right? So I entered here, got back up. Let me just see. Yeah, entered here. Yeah, I don't, my take profit was probably somewhere up here, so we almost hit it and then it reversed on me, and it basically just went back up into this high volume, and just they didn't have the idea of taking it higher essentially. So now you see the equity updating, it just a loss, a win, a loss, a win, a loss, a win, like nothing really going on for the beginning here. The reason I placed the sell limit right there is because of these wicks, and we have this very high volume being traded in this area, and we also have sort of like a dead space here that typically gets filled. We wicked into it right here, back up to this high volume,
Order
so
placed.
might not
Order
get
cancelled.
completely
Order
filled.
filled.
So again, the reason why I took that one, we saw break of the low. I put a limit order at where the highest volume was traded in that 1 minute bar. It wicked up into it and then came back down. So a very fast
Order
trade
placed.
there. Again, the same as what I was looking at before. I think it wicks up like a few ticks below it. I don't know if I'm gonna get filled here now. I typically don't like those where it's
Order filled.
well, I got filled there. I typically don't like those
Order
entries
cancelled.
where it's comes up into a few ticks close to my entry order, and I took it off there again also. When price comes up, almost basically gets rejected from the price level that I was interested in participating to the downside, goes to my TP and then comes back up to my entry. Typically the move has already happened. That is the resistance that I'm trying to capitalize on. So I don't like it when it then sneaks back up into it. It's typically just not as strong. So I did get filled, but I took it off there when we start seeing that there's not a whole lot of interest in the sellers, and we have more aggressive buyers on the oscillator.
Order placed.
So now I start thinking, okay, price is probably gonna go up higher, but again, if we go lower down, I want to participate in that. I'm not willing to enter here at market, but I don't think I'm gonna get filled in that one. Yeah, price just goes up. So the reason I placed that one is basically like the supply of this whole move started from up in this cluster, right? And this is where the highest volume was traded in that move down. So now we're in a range. I'm selling and I'm buying. Like I'm interested in both ways.
Order filled. Order cancelled.
So again, the reason why I went long there is just we have sort of like a two-wave pattern going up, coming back into to sort of like the break in this move, and this is where the highest volume was traded in that 1 minute bar. So if we're gonna get another leg up, that's probably where the retracement is gonna go to,
Order filled.
and we got that there.
Order placed.
Again here, just looking at this demand zone right here at the high volume. Again, now we get this scenario where we're basically a few ticks away from my entry. Price reverses, goes up to where they're building volume
Order
now.
filled. Order placed.
So I typically
Order
don't like
cancelled.
that, but I think I'm gonna get away with this one. Or I might not. Again, a few ticks away from my TP. I don't know if I'm holding on to this one or if I'm just
Order
gonna exit
cancelled.
out. Yeah, I took it off there. I don't like how also the volume was moving down, so there were more and more interest in this move, lower and lower. So could be an indication that the sellers are stepping up, but then we saw immediately that the aggressive buyers were stepping in. So now I might place an order here. I don't remember if I do that. Doesn't seem like I'm doing it. So yeah, here I'm just pulling out a profile of this entire move, right? So sometimes you see stuff on the 1 minute bars, but that's obviously broken up into each bar, and then I'm just pulling out a profile here on this entire range here with this aggressive move here, just to see where is the most volume actually traded within all of these bars.
Order placed.
So again, this is basically where there's most volume traded in this entire range. We
Order filled.
went below it.
Order cancelled.
So I'm thinking that might hold as a form of resistance, but it's also very difficult price action. We're forming this triangle. I honestly don't know where they're going. So I took it off there. I didn't like that we didn't get any rejection. Looks like it might have been a winner. Yeah, I think that would have taken out a take profit. But I didn't like it, so I just took it off at a small loss instead. So again, they just continue building this triangle, and I don't really know, is it gonna break to the upside or to the downside? It's a bit difficult to say this time.
Order placed.
Again, it's the same thing I'm looking for. Now there's also this liquidity sweep up here. It is a bit sketchy because many times on breaks like that, it shoots up very fast. But now this previous point of control down here is an interesting place to place a buy limit order. I don't know if I do it or not.
Order filled. Order placed.
Okay, so we got filled in that one.
Order cancelled.
Let's see, I don't remember what happens here. It's, yeah.
Order cancelled.
Yeah, I took that off again. I didn't like how they tried to push so aggressively a big bullish bar and then immediately another push
Order
up.
filled.
So now on the flip side, I'm starting to think, okay, so we actually did get the rejection. I would have get filled for my take profit. So that's 2 trades now where it would have hit take profit and took it off at a small loss. That's kind of annoying me. And I'm also looking at, okay, so they took the liquidity above this whole range that they've been building here. Are we going to see a very fast swing to the downside now after they got that liquidity up there? So I'm a bit sketched at doing this basically like a break and retest, right? We broke out of this range. Here was the highest volume traded. I enter here expecting a retracement at least up to, if it doesn't break to the high, at least up to these high volume clusters setting up here. But typically when they grab high liquidity zones like these or down here, we see a very fast reversal if it does reverse. So it's a bit sketchy to take this one long. Don't remember if I get away with it or not. We did see, however, this very strong aggression in the buyers, but many times that doesn't mean that price is going to go up higher, because in reality what really makes price go in a direction or not is limit buyers and limit sellers, right? The market makers are only using limit orders to enter. So when you have a lot of aggressive buyers, that basically means just a lot of traders are hitting the ask, right? A lot of traders are hitting, I want to market in at the best price right now. And quite honestly, that's you can hit the market buy all you want if there's a big market maker sitting up here and just absorbing all the buyers coming up into this area with a big limit order. And you don't see that on the level 2 data out here anyway, because they typically refill those. It's a little bit like iceberg orders where you see they just restack it, right? So they maybe have, let's say, 50 lots sitting up here, and then that gets bought up, or like the aggressive buyers are buying into that limit order. The moment that those 50 orders are are filled, that those 50 contracts are filled, another 50 is being put on the book, and then another 50 are put on the book. So they, no matter how many times the buyers are like trying to push higher up, this limit seller is just sitting here refilling the book, right? So you don't see it on the level 2. That's why I don't really like using it, the DOM and the level 2, because it's so manipulated. Volume you can't manipulate. It literally shows where were the most contracts traded in this period, and that's fixed, right? It doesn't mean that they're still going to be interested in those areas necessarily, but if you see that you have a lot of interest in a price area a minute ago, typically when it gets back into that area, it means that that limit seller or buyer that was sitting in that area is probably still there, right? So that's why I prefer volume over level 2 data, but I know many of traders who trade very effectively with the DOM and level 2, so it's just, it never really worked for me. But yeah, that was just a small rant to explain that sometimes you see a lot of aggressive buyers. When we see a strong rejection off of that, it basically just means that there's a huge limit seller sitting up here, like a market maker, right? And all the aggressive buyers were not able to push that through that level up there. Now, it doesn't mean that the limit seller is still going to sit there next time we get out there, right? They can take that order off. They say we might have filled enough contracts. We're happy with this. And then they're going to move up to the next level that they want to fill at. So I'm also looking at these
order canceled.
Liquidity, these wicks down here, right? It looked like they wanted to come back down, take out that, and they might continue up higher now, but I'm starting to get a little bit sketched out. I don't like how we formed some kind of consolidation here where I entered, and then we are breaking lower now. So I just took that one off again for another small loss, but that one would actually have hit my full stop loss, so I'm happy that I took that off.
Order filled.
So again, just same concept, right? We see a swing reversal, a low forming, a higher high, a lower high compared to this. Basically just like a market structure to the downside, right? So I'm thinking if we get the retrace, we're going to get up to this high volume node where a lot of the liquidity was being auctioned, and then they're going to continue lower down, but I don't know if that happens here.
Order filled.
I took a full loss there.
Order placed.
A little bit difficult to read the price action of the beginning of this session. Like there's a lot of like full moves through where they don't really, like the pullbacks are not they don't give enough ticks that I'm actually able to get out of my positions. But the trading session ended well, but sometimes it's like that. And now we see then the final breakout, and we actually also see now a lot of aggression building up in the market buyers,
Order placed.
and they don't seem to hit a roof at the moment, so they're still building up. I mean, even now when we see, that's why I place the sell limit up there now, because we come up to this supply zone here, and we see a divergence on the aggression. So otherwise I wouldn't like to step in front of a train like that.
Order placed.
So basically, yeah, like the aggression stopped here and we came up to a supply zone. We can't see it right now on the chart, but that's why I was okay with putting a a sell position right up there.
Order placed.
Pretty aggressive there again, but again, it's
Order
just
placed.
we see a reversal. I want to
Order
get
filled.
filled, so yeah, we see a rejection off of this level. So I am still thinking they want this liquidity down here where I have my buy order. So I'm expecting some whatever, like a zigzag move if they're gonna continue up higher. So I was happy
Order
to
filled.
put my TP there, and then I don't know if I'm gonna get filled on my buy order here. It's again those where it's like so close to my, the wick was again like a few ticks away from my buy limit order there. I'm still keeping it there again because I see this very significant wick after a strong move to the upside that I'm expecting that they want to come down. And now also when I pull out the volume profile of the entire move, we see that there's a lot of volume being traded down here. So I'm expecting that they want to come back down and take that liquidity before going higher if they go higher. Again, it's just
Order filled.
so that tagged me into it. And yeah, that's like a
Order filled.
classic move where they just come down, take out that liquidity, and then at least come back into the middle of the range. And many times they're gonna break all the way
Order
through, like we
placed.
see now.
Order placed.
So here's again figuring out, is this a fake out, a liquidity grab, and then to go lower, or are they actually trying to build positions to take it higher, right? So I'm now just placing my buy limit order at this like break and retest area. We have this highest volume being traded right here. Again, I'm literally
Order
like
cancelled.
2 ticks away from being filled, and then they just swoop it up higher.
Order placed.
So now I'm a little bit chasing price, right? They made the
Order
move up
filled.
higher. I'm trying to participate in that. Yeah, and this is like, this can be very sketchy when they make the double
Order
move.
placed.
And then when you get the pullback, it turns out that it's deeper than the
Order
original
filled.
one. So I
Order
got closed
cancelled.
out of the
Order
first
placed.
one. Yeah, and I had some
Order
issue here
placed.
with the platform that it didn't place my TP and stop loss automatically, so I had to place them
Order
manually.
placed.
So basically I
Order filled.
exited the first at a
Order
loss
cancelled.
and took a win for the second. I was just sure that they wanted the liquidity below this wick, and we had this high volume node, all of these volume nodes here, so I lost and a win, so pretty much a break even at that point. I realize also we don't see the entire equity graph. I'm gonna fix that for the next session I see now, but at the end you'll see the full equity. So now I'm also thinking, typically when we see these strong moves up, they make a
Order
very
placed.
strong move down again. So I am starting to think, I think here that they're gonna take price lower. Entering off of this point of control would be interesting. I don't know why I didn't do it. That would have been perfect, but I guess I was a little bit busy analyzing. So what is going on here? I don't know if my internet is fast, so I really don't know. I think it's my GPU, honestly. It's not very happy when I'm recording, and I might need to get a new graphics card for this streaming stuff. There we go. So again, I have my limit order down there just because of this liquidity sitting down there. Don't know if I'm gonna take a loss here on this one also. For sure, they're pushing into all this volume down here.
Order cancelled.
So I just moved my take profit down to this high volume node because I don't like how the sellers are showing so much interest, and now it also seems like it's getting rejected off of this volume here.
Order filled.
So at least we got the fill there. I think it's gonna reverse lower down now. So yeah, that was good that I moved my take profit down a little bit.
Order placed.
So again, now I'm starting to think that we're going down, but we also do see some divergence forming here. So it might be the end of this move to the downside. Obviously, this is only an indication, right? So anything can happen. I'm mostly following off price action and volume. Delta can be sometimes very accurate, sometimes is not helping a whole much. Don't know if I'm gonna get filled in this one. It doesn't look like it, but basically I was hoping for a pushback up into this volume area and also this significant wick here. Didn't get filled. They made the move without me. Yeah, so now moving it down to below this wick and this high volume sitting right here, but the sellers are very aggressive right now, so
Order placed.
no chance of getting into that. Again, the reason why I take this one is because of this very high volume sitting down here, which basically initiated the entire move up. So you might say if you had like a supply and demand zone trader on a higher time frame, this will be an area of interest to enter long. So I'm expecting a lot of limit buyers sitting down here.
Order filled.
And we did get that sweep up. Again, it looks sketchy, right, to enter off of a huge fall like that.
Order canceled.
But when you see it many times, you start losing fear, I guess. Like, price can reverse just as fast as it's moving, and that's typically
Order filled.
why I hate these kind of moves. Because when it then reverses, it typically reverses very
Order
fast.
cancelled.
And we see that happening now. At least that's what I'm getting worried for. That's why I move my take profit
Order
up.
placed.
Price can move down very, very fast, and then it just reverses just as fast, right? So everybody thinks, oh my God, now we're in a huge downtrend.
Order
And
canceled.
you try to get in on any pullback, but then there's no real pullback. It's like a V bottom, right? And I despise those. I
Order canceled.
just can't trade those. Looks like I'm either getting very lucky here. Didn't quite fill me on
Order
my
canceled.
stop loss order.
Order canceled.
So yeah, I took that off manually. I could have held on to that. I started worrying a little bit. I didn't quite understand where they're going now. Are they going up? Are they going down? And the moves are very strong and fast. So
Order placed.
typically this kind of strategy is best when markets are indecisive. So there's interest from buyers and sellers, because then we get that rejection off of key levels.
Order placed.
Yeah, they break the high here, so basically like a W formation, break the high. A lot of people will be interested in going long here. I could probably enter off market, but because I have such low TP and stop loss, I need to wait for a retrace into volume, because if I just enter manually buy up here, my stop loss still needs to be down here, and it's just...
Order filled.
So again, I got filled in the stop loss there. I think I take an immediate buy off of the demand here. So similar to what happened
Order
over
placed.
here,
Order
where I
cancelled.
take a loss and then I get an immediate win after that.
Order filled. Order placed. Order cancelled.
Very difficult to read this price action. For me, I'm not saying, I mean, trading is very personal and individual, but sometimes it's like that. The P&L of, I mean, the equity of the day, the drawdown to profit, I'm happy with that, so no complaints, but I remember it being quite a difficult day to trade. Ooh, I don't like that.
Order filled.
When it's like just at my TP and then it starts stalling and reversing. Ugh. That is probably what messes most with me, when I get few ticks away from my TP and then price reverses, and if I take a full loss on that, I know I have to watch out not doing stupid things like revenge trading and stuff like that, because I've dealt a lot with that in the past.
Order placed.
So now it looks like I'm seeing like a head and shoulders type of formation. I don't know why I'm not putting a limit sell there. I think I'm expecting a,
Order placed.
well, good thing I didn't do that, because that was probably what I was worried for. That we have this strong move down. That's what I was said before. No, like now the range is on a higher time frame from here to up here. Like I like it when all the price actions is within like on a lower time frame. You can see the range. When you get these big moves, that now means that if this reverses back up with the same momentum as it came down, which it very often does, it's very tricky to find the right places to enter. And here obviously I would have just been run over. I put my sell limit there because of, again, this is sort of like the low that they broke with this momentum move. Again, I'm literally like a tick away from it being filled. I got filled there. Let's see if I get out of it at profit or at a loss. For sure they're pushing it up higher. I think I'm going to take a loss here.
Order cancelled.
I took it off. So I took it off for a small loss. Just didn't like it. There seemed to be no...
Order placed.
Yeah, would have been another win. I think that's the third trade this session that I take off for a small loss that would have been winner. So definitely something to keep in mind. So now obviously we're coming, the reason why I don't take this one off is because there's a lot of both volume and price action signaling that there's like kind of like a support zone right here. But again, a fast move up typically also means a fast move down. So I think I'm a bit not too sure about this position. Obviously I'm in a lot of drawdown on this position also, so seems like I get away with it. Damn. Rejecting off that volume. Well, I got filled, but
Order placed.
What I'm looking at here is just this liquidity is hiding down here, like basically, you know, stop orders sitting down here from people that are long, that the big players might be interested in grabbing, and this is where the highest volume was traded in this momentum move to the upside. So it's like a demand zone. And we also see, right, that this is a lot of aggression coming in right here. So I do think if price gets back down below this wick here, probably they're gonna continue up higher, but looks like they're just grinding price up now. I don't know if I'm gonna get filled in that one, probably not.
Order placed.
Yeah, so now we also see some wicks forming down here. I put it on this high volume node here. Don't know if I'm gonna get filled in that one either.
Order filled.
Well, I got it there.
Order filled.
Yeah. Fast trade.
Order cancelled.
This obviously now in hindsight it's easy to see that that acted as a support. It was resistance and then it turned into support. I would probably be more interested in either this volume node down here, or again like where I had my original order down here. This seemed to have worked quite nicely. Right, we see this volume node from where this move started, and that was more than sufficient to take to the upside for 20 ticks or whatever. Now I'm placing the sell limit there because we kind of see like a rollover, and this is the whole cluster where most of the volume was traded before the move to the downside happened.
Order filled. Order cancelled.
Again, very fast trade. They feel so good, those ones. I can't lie. So on this session, I'm trading a small account with a company called Fast Track Trading. It's a 25,000 account, but you basically have $1,200 to play with. That should roll on limit. So I'm aiming for about $150 to $200 a day, which is, I mean, it's kind of insane because compared to your drawdown limit, it's about, 18% profit daily. So
order cancelled.
But I think I can manage with these. If I'm just lowering my risk to like 2 contracts at a time, that should be fine. Let's see. Again, I see my mouse is hovering over this, and now I'm just pulling out the volume of this entire move.
Order placed.
And I see there's a wick, and we have this high volume cluster. So for sure, if price dips into this area, I want to be ready to see if there's gonna be some support forming down there. Well, we didn't quite get there. They took out these wicks and then they make the run.
Order cancelled.
Okay, now we see a lot of aggression in the bias coming in. So I don't really want to miss out on this move, but again, it can be difficult to spot how deep the retracement is going to be before they continue up, or they're just going to make a strong move down to the downside again. That was like a fake out.
Order placed.
again, the reason why I'm having interest in this area is a lot of volume, and we have these wicks here. So typically you also see these like price breaks through wicks, and then they come back down, tap the wicks, and then push up higher. Again, I'm so close to being filled here. It's really frustrating, especially when you see the move happening immediately. I'm still interested because when we then see the wicks now, the people that actually got into it, they have put their stop orders down here, and typically they want to stop those out then before making the real move.
Order placed.
So I did get filled there. Let's see what happens.
Order filled.
Yeah, so that worked out nicely. Again, place might take profit here at this prior high volume, because if there's no continuation in the buyers to the upside, typically they come back into the range where most of the volume was traded before then starting the move to the downside. So I think that might be the last trade of the session. Yeah, so this is equity of the day. Pretty pleased with it. I think I logged in about $180. I traded a little bit after stream here also. I did record that also, so I'm just gonna publish that on YouTube as well. But again, we see the beginning of the day a little bit struggling. Took a loss, made a win, took a loss, made a win, took a small loss, made a couple of good wins, and then went into this streak where I was taking small losses because I didn't like the moves, and I just exited out at small loss, and then I took a full loss, and then I slowly had to grind that back, came back to break even, took another loss. A lot of these like I'm not sure if I like it, and I just close them early, made a couple of good runs, and then one loss, and then finally made that final move up. So again, if anybody's watching this, if you get something out of it, please leave a thumbs up, comment below if you have any questions, and I'll try to get back to you. Again, not investment advice. It's difficult to trade, but the reason why I'm doing this is really to, what I've been struggling with in my journey is not knowing what you can believe in all the information that is out there. There are so many supposedly traders online who, you know, share their strategies and whatnot, and you just don't know what you can believe and what you can't believe. And for a long time, I honestly didn't even know if trading is possible to make it consistent. I would make some, I would lose some, I would make some, I would lose some, and I still do that, but I definitely make way more than what I lose now. So I do consider myself pretty consistent. But I think for many, more than learning a strategy, just seeing that it is actually possible, that makes the mental aspect of it just, I don't know how to explain it, but like just knowing that it is actually possible to be consistent sometimes is worth more than learning a strategy, because I really do believe that all of us need to learn our own strategy that fits our personality. I'm not good at, like, I don't have a lot of patience, so I can't sit and look at a trade that is going on for a couple of hours. I need to do this type of I mean, I do have systems that I trade on a higher time frame that I maybe take 1 or 2 trades in a day, but I just really prefer the lower, like the high frequency type of stuff. But what I was trying to say is just like, don't necessarily try to copy a strategy, but just see that it is possible, and you need to find something that works for you, and just stick to it, and then results will follow for sure. So yeah, anyway, let me know if you have any comments. I hope for the next video I'm going to be rid of this cold, so I also can talk a little bit better. But wish you a great weekend. All the best. Take care.